I dreamt the dream, what can it mean? And that I was a maiden queen, guarded by an angel mild. Whistled and wrote, was near, beguiled. I wept both night and day, and he wiped my tears away. And I wept both day and night, and hid from him my heart's delight. So he took his wings and fled, then morn blushed rosy red. I dried my tears and armed my fears with 10,000 shields and spears. Soon my angel came again. I was armed, he came in vain. For time of youth was fled, and gray hairs were on my head. William Blake is the author of The Angel, the poem we chose to interpret. William Blake was born in London, England on November 28, 1757, to James and Catherine Blake. He was the second oldest of 5 children and had a very close relationship to his younger brother Robert. Blake had a pretty normal life as a child in his time period. His father was a hosier, which is something who deals with and sells any knitted materials such as stockings. William was homeschooled until he was about 11 when his parents decided to send him to drawing school. From there he became an apprentice to a well-known engraver, James Bassier. After this he enrolled at the Royal Academy to continue his studies. In 1782, Blake married Catherine Boucher, whom he taught to read and write. Blake was an early poet. He had started writing poetry at the age of 12 and quickly developed a reputation as both a poet and painter. His first volume, Poetical Sketches, was published in 1783. Blake spent all of his life in London, with the exception of the years 1800 to 1803, and passed away on August 12, 1827 in London, England.
I'm going to talk about the aesthetic, religion, and social views of the angel. For aesthetic, the angel draws people in by portraying a stage of life that we all go through. We can all make a personal connection to the poem because we are young and we need protection, but eventually we hit a stage of maturity where it stops and we learn to care for ourselves and for others. And for religion, we have an example of religion in this poem. It can be found in the first stanza. When the angel guards the queen, the presence of the angel can be interpreted as God watching over the queen. Another religious preference could be made out of the third stanza with 10,000 shields and spears. That could be associated with the Holy Lars, which was the spear used during the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And last but not least, social. Blake gives a social example in the second stanza when he states, "Hid from him and my heart's delight." This could mean that the character is in fact happy and just pretending to be sad to gain attention from the angel. This can easily be associated with many people in today's society who crave attention, so they portray fake feelings or emotions in order to get attention.
So to summarize the poem, the angel is about someone who initially needs protection from something or someone, so this angel guards over her. But eventually she no longer needs the protection from the angel because she overcomes her fears or whatever it is she needed protection from in the first place. William Blake's history could influence how one interprets the poem itself. One might simply make out that it is about overcoming fears or obstacles like we did. But if you take a closer look at Blake's religious views, you could see the poem in a whole different way. For instance, even though Blake was a Christian, he didn't believe in the idea of church. He believed that each person had direct contact with God himself and church was not necessary. His views can be shown through his poem because as a person grows older, she no longer needs the angel, which could represent how when we grow older, we no longer need a second individual, such as a church, to communicate with God.